What's up, gang? Case here with our CrossFit and at-home strength work for Monday, March 1st. We've got 3 rounds today, 5 single leg RDL. We're going to be doing tempo on those, 3 seconds on the way up, and then a 3-second hold with that back foot up. That'll be 5 per side. Then we'll have 5 Captain Morgans. That's a new core movement we'll go over in just a moment. And then if you have a set of rings, we'll do some low ring muscle ups or muscle up skill work. And if you don't have a set of rings, we'll do some bird dog rows for that upper body pulling exercise today. On those single leg RDLs, biggest thing here is being able to keep a straight line from our heel all the way up through the top of our head, being able to find a good, strong, balanced position with our hips square to the ground. So when we lift this back leg up, a lot of people tend to roll those hips open too far. So we want to check ourselves in this position, making sure hips and shoulders stay square to the ground. If you're able to hold a load on this, we're going to hold a dumbbell or a kettlebell in both hands today. And then as we initiate this motion, remember, we want a slight bend in that front knee. And then I want you to keep that bell right over your front toe. When you're in this heel up position, your goal is to make as long of a line as you can from that heel all the way up through the top of your head. So you're trying to find that stiff, long body position. Lift the heel as high as you're comfortable with without rounding out that low back. So be sure that we're not hinging we're not bending through the spine, that we're keeping all of the hinge in the hip of that base leg. After we've held here for 3, we'll stand tall. Try not to put a lot of weight on this lifting leg as you stand. Keep your weight centered over that base leg throughout the entire set, even as you stand. 5 on one side, then 5 on the other. Rest about 30 seconds before you go into those Captain Morgans. You're going to start in a side plank position. Make sure that your top foot is out in front of your bottom foot. Straight line from your shoulder down to your ankles, so we don't want those hips to be broken back. And then from here, we're going to pull our top knee as high as we can under control, and then we're going to pull our bottom knee as high as we can under control. We want to make sure that we reestablish a strong position. After we move, we tend to lose that position. So once you return to your start, make sure you're keeping those hips high. You feel that engagement down through your core and your obliques on this bottom side. Every time that you move, top foot, then bottom foot, that's 1 rep. 2 reps, so on. You'll do 5 on one side and then 5 on the other side. From here, we'll move to our muscle ups or our bird dog rows. All right, gang, talking about our muscle up skill and strength work for today. 2 different versions to choose from. First one's going to be a little bit easier. Toes start directly beneath the ring. We want to get a false grip. So you lay your wrist through the ring and then pull your thumb back through with that wrist still turned over. From here, when we pull our chest up to the rings, we want to pull towards our sternum. So you're kind of pulling through the crook of the wrist, keeping those rings close, pulling up towards the sternum. And then from here, we want to keep these rings as close to our body as we can as we transition over into the bottom of a ring dip. Pause in the bottom for just a moment. And then from here, we can jump to help ourselves press out to the top. And I want you to trace the same path on the way back to the bottom. Toes down, using your arms mostly to control the bottom of this dip. And then from here, sliding these rings across our ribs back to our sternum, and then we'll come down to that bottom start position. Also notice in this start, I'm leaning back a little bit because as I pull up to those rings, that chest has to be up, back has to be leaning back. Version number 2, a little bit harder here. We're going to start with our butt on the ground, heels out in front, and this is going to force you to use your upper body a bit more. Still have that false grip, and then from here, we're going to use mostly our our arms to pull into the bottom of that dip position. If you can, keep your feet off the ground, press up to the top, and then I still want you to go slow on the way down, keeping those rings as close to your ribs as you can. If you can't keep those heels off the ground completely, that's okay. Use them for enough assistance to still make this difficult, but allow you to get through the motion. You got 5 reps today. Focus on pulling to the sternum and then keeping those rings tight as you transition through. Easier version, toes are beneath. That way you can use your legs a little bit more. Harder version, feet out in front, forcing you to use just the upper body a bit more. Good luck on today's strength work, and we'll see you back soon for our Metcon.